Justin, without further ado, let's tip it off. 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Memphis at Clemson. KenPom projecting this one. Clemson -7, both teams being the Tigers, but Clemson Tigers -7 at home. The Tigers, as in Clemson, 9-1 straight up this year, beating Kentucky last week outright at home as a short home dog. The Memphis Tigers, 7-2 straight up after falling to Arkansas State in Memphis on Sunday afternoon. You look at Memphis overall this season, 275th nationally in turnover percentage offensively, and they coughed up 20 of them against the Red Wolves after upsetting UConn in the Maui Invitational. So this Memphis team has been a little bit Jekyll and Hyde in terms of the betting market, whether they're favored, they tend to underperform the market's expectations and vice versa. Do you expect that trend to continue here with Memphis at Clemson, Justin?
Honestly, no. I think this is probably one of those spots coming off the Arkansas State loss, which again graded as a shot quality loss. So no real funny business, nothing to hang your hat on if you're Memphis. Say, oh well, they should have. No, shouldn't have done anything. Expected to lose by 5, lost by 13. So okay, maybe should have been a little bit closer, but I'm assuming. When you have a big favorite losing like that, 12.5-point favorite, it kind of can get a little ugly at the end, and the game state doesn't really matter too much. But this team is still pretty ferocious on the offense, and this is probably a good old get up spot. Tough game there with Arkansas State, who is a very legitimate program, takes themselves very seriously, very legitimate offense, really strong rim and 3 rate. So they can get you if you're not really up for that game. And I would imagine that Memphis was kind of looking forward to this Clemson game. We have them a little bit higher in our rankings over at Shot Quality than what KenPom does. So not like the strongest play, but I do think there is a little bit of value here. This team has shown some pretty good qualities, right? So they do shoot the 3 ball very well. They do attack the rim very well, and they get to that free throw line. Their problems, of course, is they're not shooting enough of the 3 to really open up their game enough, and then they're not defending the rim well. So we'll have to see how, Clemson's able to manage that. And, they do defend the 3-point line very well, but they're not the most frequent in terms of attacking the rim themselves, sitting at 341st with just a 30% rate. So this one's probably going to be a slight edge to Memphis for me.
I'll go opposite end first with Clemson just touting their positive traits so far. Top 10 adjusted defensive efficiency. And you look at the addition of Jaden Zachary from Boston College, adding a ton of ball pressure alongside Chase Hunter, veteran Clemson guard, and help Clemson get to the Elite Eight. I'm still a little bit upset about those Clemson Final Four futures not getting to the window, but I digress, losing to Alabama last season in the tournament. Clemson also top 40 in offensive rebounding percentage. Ian Shefflin, 55th nationally in individual offensive rebounding rate. And Memphis does struggle on the glass.
Yep.
Can Clemson take care of second chance opportunities and turn Memphis over enough to win by 3 possessions or beyond the potential 7-point spread at Littlejohn, one of the tougher places to play among Power 5 college basketball teams? That's where I'm a little bit wary of backing Memphis. Also, you mentioned Memphis outside of the top 3, I guess if you look at percentile, probably bottom 20 percentile in college basketball and 3-point attempt rate, but 3-point percentage 3rd in the country. I wonder if those percentages are still getting a little bit of a Maui bump per se.
Yeah.
Is there, right?
Because they're not taking enough to really hurt them down from maybe what they shot at the MTE. Yeah, I mean, look, they're sitting like top 20 in both off the dribble and catch and shoot 3-point right now in terms of like their offensive shot quality per possession. It feels a little high. It does. I would expect it to come down a little bit, but then also I mean,
Tyrese Hunter is shooting 49% from 3.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. But the opposite's true on the other side, right? Like I would expect the 3-point percentage numbers against them to come down too, because that's a little high. They're seeing 36% shot quality, expecting 34. So I mean, maybe you like a little under on a Memphis game if all the models and everything sort of see in this elevated scoring and that they're not really taking a lot of threes and They do chase opponents off the 3-point line at a pretty good rate. Not a lot of off the dribble threes, a decent amount of catch and shoot threes. They push opponents to the rim, but they don't defend it well. So we'll see. They have track meet potential. So I would definitely hesitate a bit on total. And I honestly haven't been betting a lot of totals, Eli. I've cut my teeth on spreads all season. So
yeah, I'm with you. It's an interesting look to the under, but right. Tempo, Memphis ranks top 75 in adjusted tempo per KenPom. Clemson can slow it down, and I mean, they rank 316th in adjusted tempo, but if Memphis is shooting the three ball and it's sustained at least for this game with their 3-point clip, to me, I expect regression, but if it does sustain itself, at least in this game, you're probably looking at it over. KenPom has the total projected at quick math 143.
Good
Tough
math,
total
yeah.
to project.
That is tough total to project. Seeing like Torvik right there at 142, it's gonna be. And again, we've seen some. It's tough to gauge these overs right now. I think we've seen some interesting market. I guess troughs and peaks in terms of totals and big spreads, and starting to see some of these huge favorites not cover now because they're not as fresh, and then the totals were soaring over because everybody probably had their legs underneath them, and now you're seeing rotations get a little bit deeper because everyone's maybe a little more tired or trying to figure things out heading into conference play. Some unders are starting to really hit, so we'll see. It's been gauging this stuff so interesting. It's such a dynamic market with so much action and so many opportunities that there really is a dynamic feel to it.
So lean to Memphis, maybe a slight lean to the under, but no play, it sounds like.
As of now, yeah. I mean, depending on the line. If there's some, overreactions in the market to Memphis losing that game to Arkansas State, which is fair, 13-point loss, but I think, again, this is a spot where they're probably a little low in KenPom for me, which does just inherently give them value on openers and likely the close as well.
Arkansas State, underratedly, or maybe not underrated to the more traditional college basketball better that we're used to, that we speak with on a day-to-day basis. Probably a team that can make a Sweet 16 with the right set of matchups to begin the NCAA tournament if they win the Sun Belt Conference. One big league, but it seems to be after James Madison made the tournament last year, upset Wisconsin in the first round. Arkansas State could at least win a game in the dance. A very, very good mid-major, to say the least. So not really a loss that Memphis should tear up about.
I mean, they only lost to Alabama by 9 points on the road. That's legit. That's what you hope you lose to Alabama by when you're sitting in the outside the top 100 in KenPom. What a game. I mean, they're my Thursday night pick here, so we'll see how they do tonight. So I like them a lot. They're definitely under the radar for a lot of people. Coach Hodgson doing a really good job, just his second year there, and I think they could crack the top 100 in KenPom by the time the year's over.